Monti Ossenfort and Mike LaFleur speak to the media. Did they say anything of substance? Malik Willis appears to be the favorite for the Arizona Cardinals. Is it a smart move or is it going to be way too pricey? Plus, the Phoenix Suns fall last night and in an all too familiar way. Let's talk about that and much more in this edition of the Ben Garcia Show.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
Thank you for the person in the chat letting me know that my microphone was muted. What a beautiful, beautiful way to start the show. A jam-packed show for you guys today on a very busy edition of the Ben Garcia Show. A day in which you basically are talking about the offseason being bigger than the regular season for the Arizona Cardinals. So with that being said, welcome to this edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate all you guys in the chat making fun of me. Anyone read lips? Can't hear you. Muted. My guy Michael in the chat. Hello. Yes. Hello to all of you. You guys should be able to hear me now. Thank you so much for being here in this edition of the Ben Garcia Show. And what a way to kick it off. To be fair, I was up till very late last night with my daughter who decided she did not want to fall asleep, so I'm going to blame it on that. With that being said, Mike LaFleur and Monti Ossenfort spoke to the media yesterday at the NFL Draft Combine. And to be completely honest with you, they said a whole lot of nothing. And people continuously get frustrated by the fact that they don't give you anything in press conferences. And here again is my 1 second snippet of that. Who cares? Is it the right way to go about business? I don't know. But is it the exact wrong way to go about business? I don't know. Walter Nolan is the only thing that gets a bit frustrating, and the Cardinals' injury updates. You're not getting any sort of competitive advantage by not telling us when Walter Nolan could be back or what his injury looks like. Everything else, I just don't care. I'd prefer you'd be more honest with us, but you're not going to be. And if the Cardinals were winning by a lot, and if they were winning early and often, you wouldn't care either. The problem is the optics of it look bad because the Cardinals continuously do the same things and they're still losing. But I don't think press conferences have anything to do with that. Here's the other thing. Things that didn't make the show. Monti Ossenfort said to the media yesterday he has spoken to Kyler Murray. Mike LaFleur said he has spoken to Kyler Murray. And then an article came out 10 seconds after that from Josh Weinfuss that a source told him that Monti Ossenfort and Kyler Murray have not spoken since the season ended. And people are frustrated, mostly Kyler Murray fans, are frustrated by Monti Ossenfort lying about that. To which I will say to you, who bleepin' cares? What are Monti Ossenfort and Kyler Murray going to talk about? Sure, would I prefer a phone call for God knows what reason to Kyler Murray from Monti Ossenfort? Sure, like whatever. But what are they going to talk about? What do you want them to say to each other? Happy Valentine's Day? Hey, Kyler, you're looking stronger than ever. How's the knee? What are they supposed to say to each other? You think Monti Ossenfort has heard from you think Darius Robinson has heard from Monti Ossenfort since the season ended? Or Rabbit Taylor Demerson? Or hell, man, Josh Sweat? Why does Monty need to talk to those guys? And for the Kyler Murray thing, what do you want him to talk to Kyler about? They're not going to work with Kyler on the best trade package for him. They're going to do what's best for them, as they should. So yes, should you want Monty to go out and give Kyler Murray a call, see how he's doing? Go for it, Monty. Knock yourself out, man. Go for it. But it doesn't matter, and your fake outrage is exhausting. Seriously, what do you want him to talk to Kyler about? It sounds like as of yesterday, although I will believe it when I see it, that they're going to have to just outright cut him. So what does it matter? I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. And so, Mike LaFleur and Monti Ossenfort, here's what I will say about Mike LaFleur. I actually think he's better at the podium than Jonathan Gannon is. I think he's more of a natural talker and better around crowds when it comes to getting his opinion and getting the juicy details. With that being said, he's a worse liar than Jonathan Gannon because he was obviously told by Michael Bidwell, we don't say anything here. And JG spoke in the same monotone voice for every press conference with 4 to 5 word sentences. Mike LaFleur doesn't really do that, or at least he's not good at it yet. And he's a bad liar. So that made it very obvious that almost everything the Cardinals were saying yesterday was just either a lie or half-truths. So I don't care that Kyler Murray and Monti Ossenfort haven't talked. And I certainly believe that Mike LaFleur is better at the podium than Kyler Murray. Than Jonathan Gannon. Those are the two things that I got from yesterday. Not a lot. So let's move on to the more important news. Malik Willis. Could the Arizona Cardinals, or I guess I should say this, according to Tony Pauline, the Arizona Cardinals are the favorites to sign Malik Willis. Now, this news is about 2 days old, and there's a couple of things to sink your teeth into. One, the people that don't believe it are talking about the Miami Dolphins and why he will go to Miami. Sounds great. Look at their salary cap situation. Look at their salary cap situation. It is in the depths of Hades. They have no money to sign Malik Willis. And just so we're clear, I think there's a strong argument to be made that Malik Willis would rather go to Miami than Arizona. Miami's only a little less dysfunctional than the Arizona Cardinals. But not to mention, there's a lot more of Green Bay staff in Miami, given that the head coach got that job. But none of that matters because they don't have the money to sign him. Here's what is becoming very apparent. If the Arizona Cardinals want Malik Willis, they will get Malik Willis. And the contract that Malik Willis could get on its own, in a vacuum, is a immature and desperate move to bring in a quarterback. And you're looking at a deal that could be 3 years, $90 million, 2 years, $60 million. Ian Rappaport was actually peddling yesterday, making the guesstimate it could be $30 to $35 million a year. What if there's a chance it's 2 years, $70 million? In a vacuum, that is a massive overpay for Malik Willis. You are not paying him, and just so we're clear, that's exactly what free agency is. You're not paying players for what they've done. You're paying them for what you project them to potentially be. And so, on its own, that contract sounds ridiculous. But outside of that, I don't see the clear negative to signing Malik Willis. And I understand the argument of, well, Ben, Kyler Murray is better. First, debatable. Two, it doesn't matter. The Kyler Murray argument doesn't matter anymore. We've all said our piece. They are not bringing Kyler Murray back next year. His time in Arizona is done. You have to get off that idea. That argument doesn't matter anymore. And so whether you like it or not, you're in desperate need for a quarterback. And does Malik Willis make sense? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Is the contract in a vacuum going to be disgusting? Yup. However, it doesn't matter. And I don't see the clear outweighing negatives. Here's the Malik Willis experience for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's say he gets a massive overpay in 3 years, $90 million, just short of that Sam Darnold contract. You are not paying him just like everyone else in free agency for what he's done. You're paying him for what you project to be. And here is the scenario for Malik Willis. Either he is awesome and the Arizona Cardinals rebound very quickly. They have found their quarterback of the future. And now the contract for Malik Willis is actually a steal. Or he's terrible. The Cardinals move on from him in a year and they draft his replacement. And if the contract is front-loaded, you might take a hit from his deal in the second year. But in the third year, it's probably next to nothing. And that's when the Cardinals are probably talking about actually competing. That second year with their rookie quarterback on that 3-year deal for Malik Willis. So I know the contract is disgusting, but I'm struggling to see the real negatives of why not give Malik Willis a shot here in Arizona. Because I know people are saying things like, well, the Cardinals should just tank next year. I will say this slowly. The Arizona Cardinals on no planet are tanking next year. They are not tanking next year. It's just not happening. It's just not freaking happening. And why is that? Like, we can make an argument if they should, if it's the best thing that the Cardinals should do. And honestly, you'd make a very compelling case. A very compelling case that the Cardinals should just tank next year. Here's the problem. They kept their general manager, who is 15-36 in his career. He feels the heat. If the Cardinals don't win 6 or 7 games next year, and look really competitive doing so, he is getting fired. And you can make the argument he should have already been fired. I mean, look at some of his draft classes. Look at some of his free agency classes. It sounds like to me he is GMing for his job this offseason. And here's the other thing of why they're not tanking. To me, it feels like Michael Bidwell has gone to Monti Ossenfort and said, this better be a quick turnaround. And it leads me to believe they're going to take the best player available at number 3, whether it's Maui Goa or Ruben Bain Jr. or David Bailey, any one of those guys. But that's what it says to me, that they are pretty fixated on fixing this thing and fixing it very, very quickly. Bidwell does not want a long rebuild. He just doesn't. And I think Monti Ossenfort feels that pressure. But he is GMing for his job. And that's one of the things with Malik Willis. He is going to hitch his wagon to him and beg him to save him. And we can argue if it's the right move. And there's a real argument to say it's not. There's a real argument to say it is. However, this is how the Cardinals are acting. This is how they are going to figure out what they are going to be next season. And now that the expectations are rapidly changing, my first prediction for the Cardinals next year is I think they win 6, 7 games next year. I think there's a strong possibility they actually win 8 because it feels like in free agency, they're going to empty the clip. They're going to sign Malik Willis. They're going to bolster up their offensive line. They're going to look for other weapons defensively. But Monty feels the pressure. And I think he's going to be acting out of desperation this offseason. Which, by the way, not a good place to work out of. And just because he is working desperately does not mean it is going to work. And so, all I'll say is that this is where we're at right now with the Arizona Cardinals. Sounds like they're going to bring Malik Willis in. There's the arguments now. And here's the other thing that Monti Ossenfort said yesterday. Who knows? We might not be picking at 3. Really? You're not going to pick at 3? You're going to trade back? Yeah. Not buying that for one singular second. For one singular second. And so, this team doesn't have the luxury of trading back this year. The only way they're trading back is if a bad team like the Falcons last year give them a first-round pick for next year's draft. If that was the case, then yeah, you kind of have to trade back. And I still don't know if Monty would do it. It's depending how far back they go. But you kind of have to do that because the draft next year is so rich for quarterbacks that you almost feel like you have to. And so next year you would have 2 swings at the bat in the 2027 NFL draft. And, 2 chances to move up in the draft. So they're 100% sticking and picking at 3. Malik Willis feels like he's going to be the guy here. And you could make an argument whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. Seriously, I think you can make an argument for both. But it's pretty clear to this point, I think this is what they're going to do. I think they're going to bring Malik Willis in, and we'll see what it looks like when it happens. But until then, this is the new direction of the Arizona Cardinals. And it is a little concerning that it feels like a lot of what they're doing feels like acting out of desperation. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns, who last night got their you-know-what handed to them on a platter. I understand that I can be a bit harsh when it comes to Arizona sports media. I had another reporter reach out to me yesterday, tell me, you're the only one holding this team accountable. And just so we're clear, everybody in the chat, my guy David Bailey, my guy Saul, Michael, Zalma, all you guys, if you have a question, I will answer it at the end of the show. Let me just get through this last thing. My guy Brian in the chat, we haven't developed a quarterback in like 90 years. Maybe ever. They haven't developed a quarterback in ever. I feel like I can be a bit harsh in the Arizona sports media landscape. I had someone text me yesterday, another Suns reporter, send me a tweet and say, you should be a coach. You're the only person here that's not, or you're the only person here that's holding the team accountable, or you're one of the only people that are holding the Suns accountable. Because I feel like too often in Arizona sports, we give teams an excuse to lose before the game has already happened, almost like to guard our hearts. Like when you go out with a girl and you tell yourself she didn't actually have a good time, she doesn't actually like you because you're too scared to actually get hurt and put yourself out there. That's what it feels like to be a fan of the Arizona sports. I think far too often shows lean on the crutch of, well, poor Arizona sports. We don't have anything. It's, no one loves us. And I find that so nauseating, incredibly nauseating and frustrating. How about we turn the page on from that? And so yesterday, I saw a tweet from Mark Stein. Jalen Brown is not going to play against the Phoenix Suns tonight. And I said, oh, Phoenix isn't the only team in the NBA dealing with injuries. Interesting. No excuses. Go get a win. And that's what it is. No excuses. Go get a win. And sorry, guys, that was an important phone call. But I can't get off the show right away because I got to do this. But with that being said, like there should be no excuses for this Phoenix Suns team. And too often, I think people give that to them. Far too often, I think people give that to them. And so last night was another excuse. Sure, do the Phoenix Suns have a lot of injuries? Yeah, they do. And that isn't an excuse for them to be losing games. In fact, when I look around the league, the Lakers have missed LeBron and Reeves and Luka outside of like 3 games together this year. They've only played like 12 games together all total. The Rockets missing Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams. The Nuggets didn't have, Jokic and many other players for large stretches of the season. The Oklahoma City Thunder still don't have SGA. The Celtics without Jalen Brown last night. It happens. You know what you have to do? Combat adversity and be better about it. And so I will not give them the excuse that they don't have their players. How about this? How about Jalen Green just plays better? Early on in the season, I was the only, people are being so disingenuous about Jalen Green. Before Jalen Green got traded here, it was almost the unanimous thought process of most people agree in the Arizona sports media landscape. Jalen Green is an inefficient basketball player, subpar defender with hyper athleticism. And I feel like I'm the only one that when they traded for him actually stuck with that opinion. Now Suns media will peddle out old videos of him dunking the ball and get really excited about it. Newsflash, that doesn't win games. And Jalen Green has fallen into some of the same exact issues he had in Houston. Chucking the ball up early in shot clocks. Chucking the ball up early in shot clocks from three, contested. Getting to the rim inefficiently. Someone will slide over and help defense and give some help defense on him, and he refuses to kick the ball out. The Suns in their last 3 games had 20 assists against the Magic. They played 5 quarters damn near. 16 assists against the Blazers. 18 assists against the Boston Celtics last night. And you think it's a coincidence that with Jalen Green on this team after shooting 17 for 60 in his last 3 games, you think that's a coincidence? Well, Ben, he doesn't have his legs under him yet. He's been playing numerous games now. He's back. He's healthy. No more excuses. When am I allowed to blame Jalen Green if that's the argument? When am I allowed to attack Jalen Green? Because right now he's supposed to be the catalyst for this Suns offense. And he has done way more harm than good. Remember on Saturday when he had 26 points and I was, again, the only honest person in Arizona sports media and said, 26 points on 23 shots? And they lost by 30? We're calling that a positive sign? I called it a solid outing because at least he hit some shots. But I was not at all impressed with it. You lose by 30 and you chuck up 23 shots, 26 shots. Yeah, you should get 26 points out of it. Especially when the other team is letting you shoot yourself out of it. Well, Ben, why don't you blame Colin Gillespie more? That's your guy. Because Colin Gillespie was an undrafted rookie. No one thought he was better than Jalen Green coming into the season, outside of me. And this is already his second team. Denver didn't want him. And he makes $1 million a year barely. When Colin Gillespie makes more money, oh, don't worry. I'll ratchet up the heat for him as well. It's one of the reasons why I hold Devin Booker so accountable. You make $75 million a year, dude. Figure it out. But we are so quick to give excuses instead of demanding better. Well, the Suns didn't have Dillon Brooks or Devin Booker last night. The Celtics didn't have Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And they mopped the floor with you. You are averaging about 90 points in your last 6 games. You can't get a bucket when it's desperately needed late in games. And we're just going to shoo that off? No. You can panic a little bit for this Suns team. Do I think they're still going to make the play-in? Absolutely. Thankfully, the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Trailblazers all continue to lose games. So these games haven't bit you in the ass yet. And you're going to get Devin Booker back on Thursday. And it does show over these last few games just how much Devin Booker matters to this team. But it's just, it can't happen. And I'm at that game last night and I'm sitting with the rest of the media and I'm kind of just doing the Shannon Sharp, pointing to everyone hey, remember when everyone said that this was going to be better? And I was one of the few people that said, I understand the hyper athleticism. I understand that he can add some things defensively for this team, but he's a glorified shot chucker and he's inefficient at that. And he is supposed to be the running mate to Devin Booker for years to come. I cannot stand inauthenticity. And that's what it feels like it's been for the Arizona Cardinals, for the Phoenix Suns, and the way people talk about it and the way people talk about Jalen Green. I had someone tell me yesterday, oh, we're taking a victory lap. No one's taking a victory lap. Do I look happy that Jalen Green has been playing terrible? Do I look happy that this team is losing games? No one wins in this scenario. You know what would be better? If I was dead wrong and Jalen Green comes out and is awesome and the Suns are really good. You know what? I'd prefer that. But it's dishonesty. As soon as Jalen Green got traded here, everyone changed their tune outside of me. And it just gets a little disingenuous and a little frustrating for the amount of Suns fans and Suns media who went after me for my Jalen Green discourse early on in the season. $34 million a year. Figure it out. Oh, and you best believe I'm this close to doing the Jalen Green is expendable argument. But I'll give it a little bit more time. And he's got to turn it around very quickly for the Suns team, and the Suns need to turn it around. Thankfully, with Devin Booker back around the corner, we'll see how that goes. For those of you guys in the chat, I don't know if you guys had any comments, questions, concerns, but I'm going to take a look at those right now because at the end of the shows, I will always do that. Michael and Brian telling me how stupid I am because I didn't have my phone or didn't have my microphone on. Seriously, who does care? Kyrie's going to be cut and go to the Vikings. Yeah, I would totally agree with you, Brian. I think he's going to the Vikings. I think he's going to sign a minimum deal to go to the Vikings. Kyler going to be a playoff quarterback in 2026? We'll see. We'll see. I have real concerns about if Kyler Murray is actually going to work in the NFL. Miami has no income tax, better facilities. Yeah, true. I just don't think Malik Willis is going to go there. Saul, how far have the Cardinals fallen? Actually, not very far. This is kind of where they've always resided. So, yeah. It looks like it's all I've got there, guys. So with that being said, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate you guys being here on this edition of the Ben Garcia Show. And I will see you guys on Friday at 8 a.m. Thanks for tuning in to the Ben Garcia Show. Later.